Today I want to talk to you about a couple kinds of people in the world. So there's people who are more likely to try to treat symptoms, and then you have people who are more likely to try to treat the problem. Say, for the people who try to treat symptoms, a person, they go into work and they have to deal with a crappy boss every single day. Oftentimes, to just get through the day, they have to take some breaks and just play on their phone or something, or relax, listen to music. So, and when they get home, they just like turn on the TV and just relax because they don't want to think about their crappy boss. They just want to, they just want to move on. They just want to deal with that stress in their life by just, freeing themselves at that moment from it. So oftentimes it's like if someone has a cold and they're probably not going to go to the doctor to see what's wrong with it. They're just going to take a bunch of NyQuil, then go to sleep, and then wake up the next morning better. So that's an example of someone who just treats the symptoms in their life. So the only thing is like, that's good. For little problems, it's really good. You don't want to give it much thought. You just want to get it over with, move on. But sometimes there's problems in your life that just reoccur and reoccur. And, they're big problems and they're deep-rooted problems. Oftentimes, people who just want to deal with symptoms, they never get to the heart of their problem. Say that someone has a cold and they've had a cold for a month and they're just taking NyQuil every night just to feel better the next day. So obviously you see that it would be logical if this person went to the doctor, right, to actually see what's wrong with him and then treat the problem. But a lot of times they're just worried about the symptoms and they never take the time to really think about, the deeper levels. Okay, so then you have the people who, those are the people who deal with the symptoms. Then you also have the people who are more likely to first go and deal with the problems. To first go and think of the deeper levels every time. Say that, this person goes to work. He has to deal with his crappy boss every day. And every day he tries to, confront this boss about everything. Everything that he thinks is crappy about him or isn't nice that he does, So obviously you see that he's trying to deal with those problems, even if they're kind of small problems. He might even think about like, okay, I don't want to deal with this boss anymore, so I need to get out of this job. What am I going to do to get out of this job? They're thinking about how to solve the problem, or they're thinking about that deeper level, the problem. And sometimes they'll go home and they'll think about it more and more. Now, this can be a very good thing. If you have a work environment that really isn't working for you, or it really isn't great for you to be in, you don't want to deal with that every day. You need to think about the problem and you need to get out of it. You don't want to only treat the symptoms every single time. But oftentimes people who look at the problem first, or look at the, deeper into things, oftentimes, there might be petty things that happen where you can just treat the symptom and it can go away. The petty things that happen, they'll think deep about it. And that takes a lot of time and energy for every single thing. When the problem, has an easy fix. So it's like, someone who has a cold. And all they need to do is take the NyQuil and they'll feel better the next day, and the cold will go away in like a week or two, right? Well, they go to the doctor every single time it happens. That costs time, that costs money. It's not the best thing to do. You should just take NyQuil, right? And so that's one problem of the people that go deeper, the people that really think about the heart of the problems. Now I'm going to talk about the relationships. Relationships with two people who are symptoms, or two people who like to solve the symptoms, two people that like to go deep, and one person that likes to solve the symptoms, and one person that likes to go deep. And I'll show you why the last thing that I said is great to have in a relationship. Say that you have two people that deal with symptoms. Say they get in a fight of who's going to do the laundry or whatever. And, it's somehow like, it's a petty thing, but they get into this fight. At the end, they're like, you know what? Who cares? Let's just move on. So they sweep it under the rug, okay? And, next week it's time to do laundry. And what happens? Well, they fight about it again and again. It just continually happens. Obviously, there's like a deeper root of the problem. Maybe someone is like really depressed at the moment, and that's why they don't feel like helping out at all, because of their job or things, other things that are happening. So when you continue to treat the symptoms, you never get to the heart of the problem. So that couple is obviously constantly fighting. And they're constantly saying like, you know what, let's just forget about it, And eventually, when you always treat the symptoms and you never treat the problem, you always have those problems, and that will create so much stress in the relationship, and oftentimes that's why those people, oftentimes it doesn't work out. Okay, so then you have, on the other hand, people who always want to treat the problem. Okay, so say that couple again, wants to do, or arguing about laundry. Or sorry, it's not that couple, but a whole different couple. Couples that both of them want to go deep. They're both arguing about laundry. And at the end of it, they're like, okay, let's just talk this out. What's going on in your life? And, one person says like, listen, I'm just pooped from my job. My boss is stressing me out. And the other person listens and is like, okay, well, let's try to find ways to solve that. And see, that's good, but then what may happen is throughout the week, someone will bring it up again and say, talk about those same problems again, and continue to go deep and deep. Sometimes it's just, you just have to move on, Sometimes it's just a small problem. Say it just happens one time, you get in a fight about it. It's like you just have to solve that problem and talk it through. And sometimes it's helpful not to bring it up again. But a lot of times in those relationships where people go deep, they want to talk about it over and over and over again. And sometimes it's unhealthy because you can, relive things. Sometimes it's better just to, like, if it's a small problem, just to, get rid of it, and that's it. So those are two different relationships. Okay, so now you have a relationship where one person is the symptom solver and one person is the deep-rooted problem solver. Okay? So this type of relationship is actually a great relationship. So, say a problem occurs, and it's a petty problem. Okay, I'll give an example. My fiance, he, was stressed out that day for some reason, and then I said something to him, and he didn't listen to what I was saying, so I'm like, you're not listening to me, blah, blah, blah. He tries to, solve the symptoms by treating it and just being like, okay, I'm sorry, you know, and, you know, he'll give me a back massage and I'll feel better or something like that. That's great. You know, that problem happened once, he treated it, and, you know, we both felt better and we could both move on. Okay, so then say that problem happened over and over again. For some reason, he kept on not listening to me or something like that, and that's where I would come in, you know, as the person who looks deeply and be like, okay, I don't want to keep on treating these symptoms. Let's go ahead and find what the problem is. So then I dig deep and I find out, oh, you know, like his job is making him stressed, and that's why his stress is making him not listen to me or something like, or not hearing what I'm saying, and make him not hear what I'm saying. Yeah, so I would go ahead and like see what the problem is and like try to fix the problem, and then we want to continually have those symptoms. So as you can see, that's why it's good to have, you know, one person as the symptom solver and one person as, you know, the deep-rooted problem solver. So I'll try to put this in the cold analogy. So say, you know, one person gets a cold, and, you know, the other person gives them medicine for a day and they feel better, but then they keep on getting cold over and over again. Well then, or the couple keeps on getting cold over and over again, and the person who's its problem solver will be like, okay, let's go to the doctor, or let's go on WebMD and try to figure out what's wrong. And so they go ahead and do it, and they get the medicine they need, and they erase the problem, so they have to deal with it for a whole month. You know, probably when looking for someone to have a relationship with, or trying to find someone who's compatible, that's something you may want to look at, you know, if one person is the symptom solver and the other person is, you know, the problem solver. And it's something maybe you want to look at yourself and see, am I a symptom solver? Am I a problem solver? How has this affected my life? You know, what can I do, you know, to try to, you know, diagnose my problems a little bit more so I don't have to spend so much energy dealing with the symptoms? What can I do to just, simple ways to just relieve my stress so I don't have to keep on thinking about the deep-rooted problems. Or, sorry, not deep-rooted problems, but so I don't have to take little things and, you know, make them more than what they are. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Just give me a comment if you liked it or not. Sorry it's long. I hope that helped. Thanks.